All right, looks like we are live, everybody. I hope that you are having a fantastic day. I don't know if I have to hit the go live button. Stream settings, am I live? I never know. Okay, it seems like we're doing okay. Welcome back to this episode of the open mic. Generally, I used to do these a lot more often, but I haven't done an open mic in a really long time. The way open mics tend to work is I have like a topic that I want to talk about already like in my head. But then after I'm done talking about that particular topic, I like to get ideas for what we should talk about from you guys. So you guys kind of control the show and tell me what it is that we're going to be talking about. How can you do that? Well, the first way that you can do it is you can just send a message into chat, but depending on how many people are here and how fast things start to scroll by, makes it hard for me to catch all that stuff. So if you want to make sure that I talk about the topic that you have in mind, then you can use the super chat feature, because then I can separate all the super chats out and find those and talk about that specific thing. It makes it really, really easy to discuss that. But anyway, let's start by talking about the elephant in the room, the Steam controller. It's real. It's out there. The reviews are in. It's $99. It launches on on May 4th. May the 4th be with you. As a huge Star Wars fan, I can appreciate that. And I don't have one. Now, I just want to be completely transparent here. I don't deserve one. Like when Valve reached out to me when the original Steam Deck came out and they said, we want to send you a review unit, I was over the moon. Awesome. Then when the OLED Steam Deck came out and I got a review unit, again, I was super happy about that. I wasn't expecting to get a Steam controller review unit. So that means I'm going to buy one just like all of you guys are. And I'm going to make my video about it. And it'll just be after everybody else's videos. All the other videos will come out. You guys will watch all those videos. And hopefully you'll still be interested enough to come back and watch mine once I actually get hands-on with this thing. But I'm going to be buying one day one, even though it is $99. And that's the first thing that I think that we should talk about. The price of this thing, because it's $99 and there's a couple of different ways that you can look at this thing being $99. Number one, you could say, okay, that seems really expensive when you compare that to traditional controllers like the PlayStation controller or the Xbox controller. But on the other hand, if you compare that to the premium controllers, like the Xbox Elite 2 or the DualSense Edge, well, then $99 is reasonable. You know, it's a reasonable price. So when you try and come down on whether or not you think that that $99 is expensive or it's reasonable, it really depends on what kind of controllers that you want to compare it to. So let's talk about what kinds of controller it is. Is it a traditional controller? Well, okay, I don't want to say traditional. Is it a standard controller or is it a premium controller? So let's sit down and figure out what makes a premium controller a premium controller. Well, when I look at the premium controller that I have, which is the DualSense Edge, it has trigger locks. It has better joysticks. I think that's pretty much it. It's just the trigger locks and the better joysticks. Everything else is pretty much standard as far as I can remember. Oh, and you can swap out the joysticks modules with like the little button. And it has extra buttons, that too. Okay, so we got extra buttons. We've got better joysticks. We have, what's the third thing that I said? I've already forgotten. I can't remember. Better joysticks, extra buttons, and then, well, I can't remember the third thing. So let's talk about each one of those things while I try and remember that third thing. We'll start with the sticks. Are these better joysticks than regular joysticks? Yes, they absolutely are. When you think about it, these are TMR joysticks, and those TMR sticks And Hidden Rogue Studios is saying the DualSense Edge does not have TMR sticks, so they're not better. They are better in the fact that you can remove them and swap them out. They're easy to put taller ones on and versus shorter ones. So they're definitely an improvement over regular sticks on like just the regular DualSense, just not the DualSense Edge. Are they as good as TMR? No. But anyway, back to what I was saying. The Steam controller has TMR sticks, which is tunneling magneto resistance. I think that's what that stands for. What that means is that it uses magnets in order to determine which way you are tilting the stick. So, for example, on most controllers, you use potentiometers. Potentiometers, well, basically you have two things that come into contact with each other. And as they come into contact with each other, well, they rub a little bit. And as they're rubbing, things start to wear off. And if it eventually wears off, then it still thinks that it's rubbing. And that's when you start to get that drift where you're not touching your joystick and your character is just drifting off to the side or slowly moving one way or the other. So because of that, potentiometer is bad. So then Hall effect sticks came out, which used magnets, and then TMR sticks also used magnets. From my understanding, the difference between TMR and Hall effect is that TMR uses less power and also is even less likely to be prone to drift than Hall effect sticks, and both of them are way better than potentiometer sticks. So whether or not the Steam controller is a premium controller or a standard controller, well, it has better sticks, so I think that's a check. Test number 2. Does it have buttons on the back? Yeah, it's got extra buttons. It has 4 extra buttons, and it also has those 2 trackpads. So yes, it absolutely has a bunch of buttons and extra things that you can do with it, so check. It checks that box too. And I'm trying to think what the third thing was that I was trying that I said. Like, I think I said 3 things make a premium controller premium. And I cannot remember the last thing that I had said. And it was like just 5 minutes ago. And I'm not seeing anybody in chat letting me know what that thing is that I forgot, even though there's like over 200 people here already on a stream that I didn't tell anybody about. Anyway, I feel like it has more. Oh, yes. Look at this. Chris Mack said it really well. He says it has more features than a standard controller and less than an elite controller. So it seems priced accordingly in that case. And I think that I agree with that. At the same time, I can see some people saying, no, absolutely not. It's not a premium controller. This is expensive and I'm not going to get it. And that is completely understandable. And I don't think that anybody would really find fault in your argument. I would also see people say that $99 is reasonable because it is between those 2 settings. I feel like that must be it. So I feel like $99 is okay. I would prefer it to be cheaper. If it were cheaper, I would be buying multiples day 1. Instead, I think I'm just going to get 1 controller on day 1. Sticks, trackpads, back buttons, grip stuff, gyro. Oh yeah. Well, no, I know that it has all that other stuff. I was asking what makes a premium controller a premium controller. Rogue Retro X says, did they not send you the controller? They did not send me the controller. No. All right. So I think we've determined that the Steam controller lands somewhere in between a standard controller and a premium controller. And the price is somewhere between a standard controller price and a premium controller price. So I think that they nailed the price. I want it to be cheaper so that I can buy more of them, but I'm okay not just having one. It's premium if you prefer the layout. That makes sense. Yeah, I can agree with that. Okay. Now, another thing about the price that I think is important to mention is, thank you very much for the super chat. I will get to those super chats in a little bit, I promise. But keep those coming in if you want to support the channel. Anyway, another reason that I've been thinking about the price of this, and I haven't watched any of the reviews yet, so I don't know. But one of the things that I think why they may have raised the price. And this gets into conspiracy theory nonsense, okay? Because of the Rampocalypse, everything's more expensive, right? Because everything's more expensive, we know that the steam machine is going to be more expensive. Now, I am making a huge leap here and saying that the steam machine is going to have a steam controller packed in with it. Like, it's going to come with one. I think that they have to, because when you buy any consoles always come with at least one controller. So I think that they have to include the controller in with this. And if the controller costs $99, then I think that the average customer is going to look at the Steam machine and they'll say, whew, that is expensive. But it does come with a $100 controller, which kind of softens the blow a little bit and makes it a little bit easier for people to say, yeah, you know what, I'm going to get one of those because it comes with that $100 controller. Now, whether or not that's true, I have no evidence to suggest that I'm correct about that. I'm just guessing because I think that that makes sense. What do you guys think about that? Spider Enigma says the Edge and Elite controllers are not premium. They are bad controllers. You can't compare a good controller to a first-party garbage. First-party is an only option on consoles, but not on PC. I disagree with that. I have not used I've used the Xbox Elite 2 controller a couple of times, and it's decent. I've used the DualSense Edge a bunch, and it's a great controller. I don't think it's garbage at all. It definitely has a short battery life, but I have a little dock that I just set the controller on. And so it's always at 100% when I pick it up to play. And so I pick it up, I play for an hour or two, and then I put it back and I'm all done. And it works just fine for me. So I think that that's fine. I don't have a problem with that controller. Rogue Retro says IGN has an interview with the controller engineers. It's really good. They talk a lot about the mouse replacement functionality. Yes, I'm definitely going to be watching all of those reviews, but I don't want to watch them before I make my review because I don't want anything that they say to influence what I say, if that makes sense. Like I'm trying to avoid being influenced by other people's opinions of this before I actually get my hands on. Thank you, Golden Spoon. That is exactly what I was trying to remember. The third thing was the trigger lock thing. My DualSense Edge has a trigger lock. A bunch of my third-party controllers have trigger locks. The Steam controller does not have a trigger lock mechanism. For those of you that don't know, a trigger lock mechanism allows you to flip a switch and then, well, actually, hold on. All right, so here's my Lenovo Legion Go S, and I got to get this sticky note out of the way. There we go. All right, here's my Legion Go S, and you can see, where is it? Right here, there's trying to get the light right. There's a trigger lock right here. You guys see that trigger lock? If I flip that down, if I flip it down, I can pull this all the way. If I flip it up, it stops right there. It basically turns an analog trigger into a digital trigger. Now, the Steam controller does not have that feature, which is, to me, a huge, huge loss. I love trigger locks. I've been using my Xbox Raikiri 2 controller, which is another premium controller. And basically, when you engage the trigger locks, it feels like a mouse click when you pull the trigger, which is really great when you're playing shooters. I've been playing Arc Raiders with it, and it feels awesome to pull that trigger. Whenever I go back to a controller that does not have trigger stops and I play a shooter, I'm always like, oh, it doesn't feel as good because you can't feel that moment when the trigger fires. Now, it's very important to point out, even though the Steam controller does not have trigger locks, here's what it does have. It has Steam input, and it has haptic feedback. So With Steam input, you can configure those triggers to act like a hair trigger. Basically, as soon as you pull the trigger, it fires. So you get that instantaneous, what's the word I'm looking for? Instantaneous feedback. Boom. As soon as I pulled that trigger, it fires off. And you can even add in rumble so that as soon as you pull that trigger, you get a physical feedback. Now, does that make up for the lack of trigger stops? And I'm going to say probably no. And here's why. The trigger stops are going to feel better. They are going to, like, the trigger literally won't go any further when you pull the trigger. Whereas with the Steam controller, when you pull that trigger, yes, you're going to get that feedback. You'll feel it, but your finger will continue to pull the trigger. And that means you can't basically pull the trigger as fast because it's not stopping you. And yes, the actuation point. The actuation point happens instantaneously, Hamiltron. Oh, I love that name. That happens instantaneously, but then the trigger can still be pulled. And so you can't go pop, pop, pop real fast when you pull the trigger that way. So I feel like that's definitely a downside for the controller. Although, to be fair, it feels almost a little bit like I'm reviewing something that I haven't had hands-on with yet, and that's not entirely fair to Valve. But I'm just saying what I think. Okay. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Rusty Seatbelt says post-travel. Yeah. After the actuation, you have post-travel. And I don't like the idea of having post-travel there. All right. So let's talk about the trackpads. The trackpads are bigger than the trackpads that are on the Steam Deck, which is really good news, I think, because as you skate your thumb around on the trackpad, you're definitely going to want to have as much room as possible. The one thing I worry about is the placement of the trackpads. Like with the original Steam controller, which is right here, and there's a sticker on it. That's why it has the Aperture Laboratories thing on there. Your thumbs rested always over top of these trackpads. Your thumbs just rested there automatically. And so it felt perfect when you are playing a game for your thumbs to land on there. When I look at the trackpads on the Steam controller, the new Steam controller, I feel like I might have to bring my thumb down too much to use those. But again, haven't had hands-on with it yet, so I don't really know. What do you guys think about the placement of the trackpads, even though we haven't like had hands-on with it yet? I'm very curious what you guys think. And favorites. Why is there favorites in there? Oh, those are super chats. Automatically go into favorites. That's cool. Awesome. Okay. All right. Let's next thing that I want to talk about, and then I'm going to start getting to your super chats. The other bonus that the controllers have, the Steam controller has, and I haven't seen, somebody mentioned this to me, but I haven't seen the Gamers Nexus video. But Gamers Nexus said that Valve is working with iFixit again for repairs. So one of the things that made the Steam Deck 1,000 times better than pretty much everything else out there is just how repairable it is. Like you could literally just order parts off of iFixit. They come to your house. There's a video that iFixit posts that takes you step by step through how to replace the part that you ordered. And it's awesome. When I first ordered my Steam Deck, I said, ain't no way I'm opening this thing up for anything. And then after a few months, I decided, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take this thing all the way apart, all the way down to the bare bones, and rebuild it inside of a third-party case that was semi-transparent from JSOX. And I did that on a live stream. I did a 7-hour live stream. My wife actually took over for a little bit of the live stream so I could go eat dinner and then come back. But I did like this 7-hour live stream. It took forever. And at the end of the day, it worked. The Steam Deck is incredibly well designed for even somebody like me who is a novice when it comes to taking electronics apart. I think that is something that makes the Steam controller so much better than anything else out there, is just how repairable it's going to be, because Valve is making it repairable on purpose. I think that's huge. All right. So just to recap, I didn't get one. That's okay. I'm going to be buying one just like you guys on day one. $99. I could see an argument in both directions. The trackpads being bigger, I think that that's going to be a huge win, though I'm a little worried about their placement. It sucks that there's no trigger stops on this thing, but it's also really repairable. So I think that we might be sitting on a winner here. All right, let's take a look at the super chats that come in so far. We'll talk about the things that you guys sent in. I want to start with this one from Master of None. They sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you for supporting the channel, by the way, Master of None 88. They said, does it work natively with Windows? Yes, I believe it does. It works natively with Windows. You're going to be able to just hook it up, update the firmware, and then like if it works the same way that the original Steam controller does, all you do is you push this button to turn it on, and then you push it again, and it launches you into big picture mode. And it's almost like you are just playing on a Steam machine or a Steam Deck anyway, which is really cool. So yeah, it works with Windows. And honestly, I don't see any world in which Valve would say, no, we don't want it to work with Windows because we want to push people towards our stuff. That just isn't Valve's MO. Like when inevitably they launch Half-Life 3. Half-Life 3 is going to work on Windows because they understand that it's not about trying to lock people in. So I don't see any world in which this doesn't work natively with Windows. And I'm 99% sure that Valve has already confirmed that it will work on Windows and doesn't require you to be using SteamOS or Linux or anything like that. All right. Next up, we got the $5 or £5 super chat from Kodiak Moonwolf. They said, glad to have you back on stream, Bill. Kodiak, it's good to see you again, my man. Yeah, it's good to stream again. I miss sitting down and chatting with you guys. The reason I don't do streams as much as I would like to is because after the fact, nobody watches them. Like people watch them when they're here, and like right now there's 350 people watching, which is awesome. And if there's 350 people, if 300 of you could click that thumbs up button, that would be awesome, because right now we're at 51 thumbs ups. Like there's 350 people watching right now, but the second I shut this off and it just turns into a video on YouTube, people aren't going to watch it anymore. You know what I mean? All right, moving on. BT Maverick sent in a $5 super chat. They said, how is the Steam controller HD Rumble versus PlayStation's DualSense Haptics? That's a really good question. I don't have an answer for you because I don't have the Steam controller yet. The original Steam controller did not have Rumble, but it did have haptics. And I would say they were awesome for the trackpads. Like when you were using the trackpads, you could feel, it almost felt like you were moving a track ball around. It feels great. It really does. However, they also used that haptic feedback for Rumble, and it was terrible. Like it was bad Rumble. It was real bad Rumble. So hopefully they have both Rumble motors and haptics built into this thing, and they're not depending on haptics to pretend to give us Rumble. That said, boy, I kind of actually want to look at the Steam controller website. I want to look at the Steam controller website real quick, and let's see if this can go on screen. There we go. And if we scroll down here, all the way down, way down. All right, thumbstick haptics. 4 haptic motors. It has 2 LRA haptic motors and trackpads for HD tactile feedback, and 2 high output LRA haptic motors in grips for HD. Okay, so it seems like they have real Rumble this time. I'm not sure what an LRA haptic motor is. Let me copy that, and I'm going to let me look that up real quick. I want to see what LRA means. Linear resonant motors or actuators. Okay, so according to Google's AI slop, It says linear resonant actuators are haptic motors that create vibrations by oscillating a magnet mass against a spring using an AC signal, typically operating at a narrow resonance frequency between 100 and 250 hertz. So the best example that I could have is I have a video of a controller that I reviewed. I cannot remember what the name of the controller was, but in it that has like little windows. You know what? Let me go find the controller and I will be right back. Don't go anywhere, you guys. I lied. I can't find the controller. I must have given it away to somebody. That's what I do with the extra stuff that I have, is I give it away. So I don't have it. But anyway, there's a window in the controller and you can see the little magnet. And basically what would happen is the magnet is like sitting here and there's like a post and the magnet spins around the post like this. And so when you pull the trigger and it starts to give you rumble, the magnet's going around like this and you can feel the controller shaking. And that's what it seems like they have in this, is one of those. So it seems like they have both real rumble and haptics for the trackpads. And that is a big deal. It's very good that they have that stuff. So when we look at this, and it has 4 haptic motors, 2 of them are for the trackpads, and then 2 of them are like real rumble. That's huge. I love that. Hopefully I answered your question there, BT Maverick. Just Call Me Bones sent in a super chat for $2. Thank you so much for this, for the support. They said, does the controller wake a Windows PC from sleep? That is a very good question. My friend Carrie did a video where he made a Windows PC into a console. And the only way that he could get that to work, where it would wake when you press the Xbox button on the controller, is he used a Xbox, I think it was an Xbox One dongle, like a Bluetooth dongle, so that he could connect that way. Now, the Steam controller comes with a puck, and that puck is the wireless connectivity, which is supposed to be really low latency, but also the charging thing. So my guess is it's definitely going to wake your computer. Well, I think it'll definitely wake the Steam machine by just picking up the controller and pressing the Steam button. Whether or not it will wake a Windows machine, that is a very big question. Definitely something that I am interested in finding out. All right. So that's all the super chats that came in so far. So we're caught up on that. I'm going to try and scroll through the things that you guys sent in. Whoops. And see if there's anything else that we want to talk about here. And let me go back over here. All right. Kenny Powers says, congrats on 100,000, Bill. Well deserved. Thank you so much. You guys can see, where is it? I got my plaque, came in the other day, so it's sitting right back there. But thank you very much. People are talking about trackpads. The light version with no gyro and some buttons would be a disservice to the Steam Deck ecosystem, being button parity, and that bringing button parity to the deck is the main feature in their opinion. You know what? I agree with that. If this thing didn't have all the same buttons that the Steam Deck had, I would be way less interested in it, because I already have a controller that, the back is not all the way on here. I already have a controller that does the most important functions that the new Steam controller has, and that's the old Steam controller. The problem is that this doesn't have two sticks. This doesn't have a D-pad, and it has like they're kind of sort of D-pad. If I can get the lighting right, you guys will be able to see the kind of sort of D-pad right there. All right, there it is right there. So yeah, you can kind of use this as a D-pad, but I never got used to it for a D-pad. But I mean, the reason this thing failed is because it didn't have two sticks, and people looked at it and they said, well, I want two sticks. People looked at it and they said it doesn't have a D-pad. So it didn't succeed because of that. And so it definitely has to have everything that the Steam Deck has. And since the Steam Deck came out, I have been jumping up and down saying, Valve, you've got to send us, you absolutely have to send us a controller that basically just take the screen out and slap the two sides together and you're done. It took them 4 freaking years, but they did it, and I'm super happy about it. Scrolling down, let's see if anybody else has. Oh, we got a new super chat came in. Thank you so much for that. Game Tech Talk sent in at $5 Canadian. Thank you very much for supporting. And they said, congrats on the 100K. Thanks, Game Tech Talk. I appreciate it, man. Back to just regular chat. Jay Lindholm says, it's been a while since I've been live. That you are correct. Kind of talked about why earlier. You can even change the battery very easily. Gamers Nexus did a review and even opened it up. Oh, that's awesome. Do you know if they had any glue in with the battery, or is it easy to get that out of there? Because I would love to know more about that. Oh, okay. Wants to Watch said it's not. Gamers Nexus already confirmed. They only have a Steam Machine X controller bundle, so it will not be a pack-in like the Xbox and PlayStation consoles. Boo! Oh, I was really hoping it would come with a controller packed in. That's a huge shame if that's true. Man, oh man. All right. And then Y33N Gang says there's no glue. That's good to hear. Any guesses on the frame and Steam Machine release dates? No, I don't have any guesses to that. Honestly, I said that Valve was going to ship the controller and the other stuff all together. I encouraged them not to. Like I posted a video and talked about it on my podcast a bunch, saying, Valve, just ship us the damn controller already. That's what most people are most interested in. The Steam Machine is super interesting, and I'm going to buy one, but it's not as powerful as the computer that I already have to play games on. I'm only buying it so I can make videos about it, you know? But I think it's going to be awesome, and I think that there's a lot of people that are going to find use for it. But to me, the most exciting thing was the controller. And then with the Steam frame, I'm not really a VR guy. I'm definitely going to try it, and maybe I will be a VR guy. I've had one really great VR, 2 really great VR experiences. Horizon Call of the Mountain on the PSVR 2 was freaking awesome. Absolutely wonderful game. And then the second game was, I can never remember the name of it, but it's a roguelike shooter where you go through and you get like guns, and like these guys are hidden and they're like faceless guys, almost like in Super Hot, but it's not Super Hot, but they're like these faceless guys, and you got to like kill all of them in the area in order to unlock the next area. And then you go to the next area, you keep going as long as you can so that you can get a bunch of money. And then when you die, you can spend that money to level up your stuff. And I wish I could remember the name of it. It's really good also on PSVR 2. But then when I tried to hook my PSVR 2 up to my PC, just did not work the way that I wanted it to. It was too shaky and didn't work right. Devil 87. Yes, I have talked about the price already, so you're going to want to rewind to the beginning of the video. Dave 2D in his video has already shown how easily it is to take the battery out. That's awesome news. I hope more devs will start to implement Steam input if the controller gets a lot of traction. I do too, but the cool thing about Steam input, you don't need the devs to support it. Like, you can do whatever you want with Steam input. I have videos showing people how to play Star Wars: The Old Republic, which is a mouse and keyboard style MMO where you have like 24 different abilities that you need to be able to fire off. Plus you need to be able to move and look and select things and bring up maps and all this other stuff. And you can do it using the just the Steam Deck. And if you can do it on the Steam Deck, then you can do it on controller because they both have the same inputs and they both use Steam input. So definitely you're going to be able to do anything you want with it. And I cannot wait because, guys, I'm telling you right now, once I get my hands on it, you're going to see so many tutorials for like, here's how you do this with the thing, because I think that that stuff is so fun. And those videos tend to do really well. Release date before or after Half-Life 3. You talking about the Steam frame and the machine? I think that they're going to be released before Half-Life 3 comes out, unless Half-Life 3 is, launches on the same day. Light Brigade, yes. Anime Noodle. Light Brigade is the name of that game, and it is so freaking good. Did I get this wrong from Gamers Nexus videos, or does the Steam controller works only as a mouse input and not as a gamepad if Steam is not open and you need to launch a game through Steam? That's how it worked with the original Steam controller, and it would not surprise me if you wouldn't, like, you would need to have that, because otherwise, let me explain what's going on. So Steam has Steam input built in, okay? When you launch a game through Steam, Steam input basically loads in and allows you to start interacting with it. If you don't have Steam open, then the controller can't communicate with Steam input. And if it can't communicate with Steam input, it can't translate all of the little whiz-bang things that it can do into whatever game you're playing. So if you are playing a game that you got on, say, the Epic Game Store or something, that game is not going to work with the Steam controller as far as I know. That being said, the Steam controller, the original one, also had, I think, what people called it like lizard brain mode. Basically, if it didn't connect to Steam, it just defaulted to a certain set of things, and the trackpads would just become a mouse. And basically, it would be like, if you've ever used the Steam controller with like a browser, like the left trackpad is your scroll wheel, so you can scroll up and down. The right trackpad moves your mouse around. Left and right triggers where your right and left clicks on the mouse. And I think that it defaults to that. But there is the ability for you to set default modes on Steam input for a controller if it doesn't connect to anything at all, like if you're on the desktop. And you can just say, oh, okay, well, forward on the joystick is going to be forward on an Xbox joystick. And you go through, you make all those settings, and then you launch your game through something else, and it should work if it works the same way that the original Steam Deck or Steam controller works. I don't know, though. Hopefully I've answered your question. Let's see. What's the last game that I actually finished? I don't finish games. I start a lot of games, but I don't finish them. I will say that I put enough time into Arc Raiders that I feel like I finished it, even though like you can't finish that game. I put like 150 hours into that game. I beat Indiana Jones last year. That was really good. There was another game that I played and finished at the beginning of this year, but I can't think of what it is off the top of my head right now. But I don't finish games. I start a lot of games. All right. You can add non-Steam games as well to enable the overlay to get Steam input. You can do it in software outside of Steam. Yeah. So basically, like when I made a Guild Wars 2 layout for my original Steam controller, that's what I did. When I used to play Guild Wars 2, I played it on my Steam controller. Guild Wars 2 used to be a non-Steam game, so I would just load it in there as a non-Steam game, and then I could still set all of the personalized stuff that I wanted to. As a dev, if you just implement the Xbox controller as a basis, Steam input just does the rest and even allows a user to remap keyboard stuff. So yes, exactly. And it's great that way. I can't believe how that works. So does it not work with phones like a normal X input gamepad? I don't think it's going to work with phones. I don't think it's like, I saw somebody had left a comment that they hoped it worked in their Tesla. And I'm like, don't be playing games in your car unless you're parked. And if you're parked, like, why are you playing games? Go do something, you know? I don't know. But I don't think it's probably not going to work in a car or in a box with a Fox or anything like that. I'm trying to catch up to chat, but you guys have so much coming in. Almost 400 people here watching. Thank you so much. Oh, wow. Hey, last time I said if you guys liked the thing, it was only 30 people. Now it's at 146 likes. Thanks, guys. Kodiak Moonwolf says, so the controller needs Steam running as middleware, most likely for full functionality, but maybe, yeah. Hopefully it'll just be recognized as a generic controller when Steam isn't running. Yes, basically what I just said. Exactly. Heisenthal says, in case anyone was curious, when powering on your controller, if you hold B and right bumper, it will power into Bluetooth mode. This is a hard toggle. A plus right bumper to puck profile 1, A and LB for profile 2. Yeah, when you powered on this Steam controller, if you would press the Steam button and then B, it would put it in Bluetooth, like Bluetooth LE mode or something. Steam and A would make it connect to the dongle, and then I forget what the other two were, but basically sounds like it's doing the same thing. Chris Mack, no, I don't think you have to have Steam open to get it to detect, but what you do is you have to set it up the first time so that its lizard mode is just a regular gamepad mode. And then once you've got it set up, I think you'd probably be all set, but I can't answer that 100% because Valve didn't send me one. KEI Retro Gaming says, hey, Bill, I think you'll be picking up more than one to use around different devices if you like the Steam controller. I mean, no, I don't think so. I don't dock my Steam Deck anymore because I have a Steam machine. It's a Bazite build PC that I made that's more powerful, and it's hooked up to my TV. And so I have cloud saves. So I don't need to, dock my deck. So this is really only going to get used with one device. And if I need to use it with another device, it's only because I'm doing content or something. And I might like bring over my ROG Flow Z13, set it on my desk with my top-down camera pointed at it, and then I would just repair that way, or just grab the dongle and plug it in and then leave it at that. I just think that's easier. I don't really see myself using it with multiple devices. Most annoying thing with my Steam Deck docked with my third-party controller to navigate is in desktop. I can't do anything until the Steam client loads. I hope the controller bypasses that issue. Well, I mean, Steam loads pretty fast if you put it in, what's the word I'm looking for? Like your startup directory or whatever it is. So that should work pretty well. Oh, thank you so much, Doom. My wife bought this for me. She buys all my clothes. I don't pick anything. 150 hours. I've had 2 weeks of unbothered vacation. I was still pretty proud of myself for getting 10 to 11 hours of gaming in so far. It's been a week and a half. Well, Arc Raiders has been out for months, so it took me quite a while to get there, but it was the only game I was playing for quite a long time. All right, we got a super chat from $10 New Zealand. Hey, they're from New Zealand. Oh my God, I need a drink. Sorry about that. Woo. Rodney, that's a funny name. Said Gamers Nexus said it is very repairable. That's what I've heard too, which is huge. I talked about that before. It's very important that things are repairable, and then we don't get like this stuff that we can't open, like the Stadia controller, which is a great controller, but you basically have to like cut it open in order to get into it. It's a nightmare. So yeah, I like that it's repairable. I like that a lot. Oh man. Why will it not work in a car or everything else? It's got Bluetooth. It has Bluetooth, but your car or your phone or whatever device, they don't know what the trackpads do. Like, okay, here's the example I will give. When you play a game, and this is a weird example because the trackpad is so small on this. When you play a game on this, there's a little trackpad right here. You can see that little trackpad? It's hard to see because of the light, but there you go. See that little trackpad? That is just a trackpad like a trackpad is on your laptop. The trackpads on the Steam controller, they're different. Steam Input registers these as a different thing. It allows you to do so much with them. Without Steam Input, you can't do 90% of what a Steam controller can do. You want to make a radial menu? You need Steam Input. You want to customize what the trackpads are for? You need Steam Input. You need Steam Input to tell the triggers whether to be a hair trigger or a full trigger, like if you're playing a racing game. Without Steam Input, the controller is just a boring ass controller. And if that's what you want, don't spend money on the Steam controller. Just get any other controller and you can use that instead. The Steam controller, both the old one and the new one, are essentially worthless, if you ask me, without Steam Input. But with Steam Input, they are the best controllers that you can get. And I say that because I played a million hours of video games with this thing. So much time playing Guild Wars 2 with this controller is just fantastic. It's a really, really great experience. And I know that the next one's going to be just as good because I've been using the Steam Deck for the last 4 years and it's awesome too. Valve knows how to make a controller and they know how to make that controller better with Steam Input. And we just got another super chat came in. Thank you so much for the super chats, people. This one comes in from Roki. They said a Valve is a Steam controller. A Valve is a Steam controller. Is that what I just said? Is that why you have it in quotes? Did I say that? That's hardly even a sentence. So install a Steam client onto your car, create a profile, and drive away. I mean, that is possible. We've seen like Russ put out a video of him using Rocknix, I believe it was, on the AYN Thor, and he was able to just play Steam games. I mean, I can play Steam games on this. Like, I can play Steam games on this. You can see all my Steam games right there. So it is possible, but I don't think it's it's not there yet. Like there's still some things you have to do. Oh, I get you. A valve, as in a Steam valve, is a controller to control the release of Steam. Understood. Bill, what do you think of IGN's review? Sorry, just got in a couple of minutes ago. I'm not watching the reviews. I want to watch the reviews, but I don't want the reviews to influence what I say when I actually get my hands on it. So I'm not going to watch the reviews. I'm going to wait until next Monday. I'm going to order my controller just like everybody else is. And then I'm going to sit here and wait for my controller to arrive. And then when it arrives, we're going to be making videos for you guys. Yes, those were meta jokes. Awesome. All right. 400 people watching. We got almost 200 likes. If you guys could like that button, it would help a bunch. All right. What else do you guys want to talk about? Game suggestion. Warframe, Think Destiny, and Arc Raiders, but almost exclusively PvE and free old game from the 2012 is a vibrant but playable on Steam Deck as the devs kept improving it in the engine. Warframe. Oh, Warframe. Yeah, I've played Warframe. I played Warframe back before it was the Warframe that it is now, so it's very different than it is now. But you just reminded me, one of the things that I hate in Arc Raiders is when you are a controller player, which I am, the inventory management is freaking terrible. Terrible. And much better with a mouse. So what am I going to do? I'm going to play like I normally do, but then when I open up my inventory, it's going to switch that right trackpad to be able to just zip around my inventory so I can get in and out of my inventory fast. Because when you're playing Arc Raiders, if you're stuck in your inventory, you can't see around you, and that's usually when you ended up getting shot. Casparius Ghost. I am very worried about that. You know, the initial shipment of Steam controllers that Valve got in weighed about 12,000 kilograms. I did some napkin math and worked out that I think that means maybe they got in about 30,000 controllers. If they only got in 30,000 controllers, the original Steam controller, I'm going to look it up real quick. How many units did the Steam controller sell in lifetime? So the original Steam controller sold 1.5 million units. They have 30,000 of them so far as we know. That's not a lot. That's not a lot. Makes me worried that we're going to be fighting for each other or fighting with each other to get hands on with these things. You know what I mean? FPS gyro for PC players is going to be a game changer on our old hand for our hands, old folks. Yes, I'm very much looking forward to being like, I played all of Doom 2016 on the original Steam controller, and basically the marriage of using the trackpad on the right for big movements, but then using your gyro for precise movements, it was awesome. Like, you were able to just flick and your character would spin around and look behind you almost instantaneously. It was really, really good. If those trackpads are not too far down, because that's the one thing I worry about, is that you have to reach too far down to reach them. If they're not too far down, oh man, it's going to be so good. Lizzo says, "Hey Bill, I just wanted to say I like the way I think the way you present the podcast is incredibly good, and the way you word your points are always thoughtful. I try to be thoughtful about what I say, but sometimes I do just say things off the cuff and then I regret what I said." Analog Den, as a dad, have you tried Pragmata? Girl dad over here, and it has been a wild ride. I am 4 hours into Pragmata right now. I'm gonna say this, and who knows if it'll happen, but I definitely want to finish that game. I know it's a short game, so the chances of that happening are actually pretty high, but I'm having an absolute blast. When am I still connected to the internet? Because hopefully I'm still connected. It says I am. Let me scroll down. Am I still here? There's cuffs on the shirt. They're just way up here. Hopefully. Well, I'm going to assume that I'm good. Anyway, Pragmata is so good. When I first saw that game, I thought that I would find the girl irritating, because I always find children in games to be irritating. But it's actually a really charming game, and the way that you move, the traversal feels unbelievably good. Like when you are jumping and then you use your jets to do a double jump, the way that momentum works and the way that gravity works and object in motion remains in motion unless acted upon by an outside force, it feels like it should. It feels like they really looked at the physics of how this would work, and it's just really good. So I love Pragmata. The hacking is really fun. I love the fact that the game doesn't tell you this, but I love the fact that you can stop a hack in the middle of it to reposition yourself. And then when you aim at them again, pick up the hack where you left off. I think that's great. The weapon variety is really different than any other game that I've ever seen. It's so good. So I'm definitely looking forward to playing more of Pragmata. Thank you for the question. What is my favorite controller for platformers? Depends on the system. It also depends on the platformer. I'm going to say something that a lot of people are going to get mad about. I like the D-pad on the Joy-Cons. The Nintendo Switch Joy-Cons. D-pad's actually pretty good for platformers. It's also good for puzzle games like Tetris. The only thing it's bad at is fighting games. It's freaking terrible for fighting games. Lizzie says, I'm excited to continue Pragmata with the Steam Controller 2 because I'm going to set the right trackpad to be the D-pad so I can still move while changing a weapon. Trying to picture what you mean by that. So you're going to set the right trackpad to be not the D-pad, but oh, okay. So you're going to put like an underlay of like a cross that allows you to choose your weapon without taking your left thumb off and hitting the D-pad. I see what you're saying there. That's actually a really good way to do it. Just to have a timeline, if I may ask, how old are you? I'm old. Get off my lawn. That's how old I am. And what was one of the first games you played? The first game I remember playing is Donkey Kong in the arcade at my grandmother's bar when I was, I don't know, like in grade school, because my grandmother worked the day shift at her bar, and my mom would take me there in the summertime so she could sit and chat with her mother. And my grandmother would give me a fistful of quarters, a glass bottle of Mountain Dew or Pepsi, and a package of Dipsy Doodles, and I would run off into the other room when they had a Donkey Kong cabinet there, a pool table, some shuffleboard, and I would just go in there and play those things all day, and it was awesome. But I'm 49, just to be a little less snarky. Um, Roki says the ratcheting they showed where lifting off the controller counts as an input is awesome. Thinking of layering that with the trackpads, definitely mapping no hands-on as a pause though. Yeah, I thought about that too. Basically, you could say if I'm not touching the controller at all, automatically hit pause. So if my grandson walks in, I can just say I'm playing the game. I can just set down the controller. The game will automatically pause and I can chat with him. Bill is getting close to retirement old. I got 8 years for my main job, and then I will be a full-time content creator. Neo Geo AES Plus is going to kick the Steam Machine's ass in 2026 console war playground battlefield between my ears. Yeah, so with the Neo Geo AES, I haven't really looked too much into it. Does that require the cartridges in order to play? Like, aren't the cartridges like really rare and going to be super expensive to buy? Kenny Smith, my day job is I'm a science teacher. That's my day job. My first idea in the hand sensing was if you let go of the controller, it closes the game to punish angry gamers. That's funny. Back Joe Star says, do I think the Steam Machine price will be correlated with controllers? Like how the controller's $100, do you think the Steam Machine will also be more expensive than we thought? I think the Steam Machine's going to be more expensive than we thought because of the Rampocalypse, honestly. When the Steam Machine was first announced, I mean, we didn't have the Rampocalypse at the time. I guessed that it was going to be $650. And then when the Rampocalypse really hit its stride a couple of months ago, I said, well, maybe it's $750 at this point. Now I have no freaking clue how much it's going to be. It's like so hard to predict. And that's why Valve hasn't said, because it's so hard to predict. AES Plus also comes with re-releases of 10 games on cart for $60 to $80. Okay, that's awesome. I'm glad that you mentioned that. Yes, I retire at 57, and then I'll have my pension, but then I'll work full-time as a YouTuber. Oh, God, I can't believe I just said that. As a podcaster, I don't consider myself a YouTuber. They're selling new carts for it. You can get the whole package with carts for $1,000. Ooh, it's too expensive for my blood. You know what? Let me I'm going to throw a poll in chat. Are you getting a Steam controller? All right. So there currently is a poll in chat. I'm curious how many of you are getting a Steam controller? We want the Steam Machine. Do you think the controller will be bundled? I thought that maybe it would be bundled, but then somebody said earlier that Gamers Nexus has said that it won't be bundled. So I don't know. QWERTY says free unlimited plays on a Donkey Kong machine. Just another Nepo baby who got an early leg up in the gaming space. That's funny. That made me laugh. When do I think the Steam Machine will release? I don't think Valve knows when the Steam Machine will release. Disagree. I'm a podcaster that makes YouTube videos to make the podcast better. No, I don't want maybes. I want yeses or nos. Just, nobody's going to, if you just pick what you really believe, and then if you change your mind, it's okay, Jerry. Richie 5294 says they should sell a RAM-less Steam machine for those who have extra RAM already. I'm curious what that price would be comparative to the models with pre-installed RAM. Yeah, I've seen that a lot, but honestly, if you are somebody who can pull RAM out of a machine and put RAM into another machine, just build a machine. Like, why do you need a Steam machine? Just build one. Like, I built one. It works. It works great. It's awesome. And then you can get it exactly the way you want. Then you wouldn't have that 8 gigabytes of VRAM. You know what I mean? Oh, Roki, thank you so much. They put 100 buckaroos in their Steam wallet and set an alarm for next week, Monday. Guys, put $100 if you're buying a Steam controller, and so far 84% of the people who are responding to that poll are, if you are buying a Steam controller, put $100 in your Steam wallet so that you don't have to deal with credit cards on the day of. Right there. Thank you, Roki. Bill, are you playing Diablo 4? You mentioned you loved Diablo 3 last podcast. I played Diablo 4. I thought it was really good. I liked Diablo 3 more. I was reading a couple of comments of people recommending that I pick up Diablo 2 Resurrected. It is now in my cart, so I may be buying that soon. But I'm trying to hold off on buying anything right now, even though Titanium Court just came out, and I was really looking forward to that. I'm trying to not buy things right now, and the reason I'm trying not to buy things right now is because I want to finish Pragmata before I buy something else, because you know what's going to happen. I'm going to buy something else, and I'll stop playing Pragmata, and I'll never get back to it because that's what I do. We just had a super chat come in from Rogue Retro. Thank you so much for the support. They said Gamers Nexus said that there is Steam Machine and controller bundle. That does not imply that the Steam Machine will be sold without one. I don't know. I don't know. How are we supposed to know? I hope that they will sell one together, but who knows? AES with no game starts at $250. Yeah, well, I bought the what's the Nintendo 64 one? I have the Analog 3D. Oh, it's my wife. Hang on, guys. I'm going to talk to my wife. All right. We're back. We're back. All right, where were we? Yeah, I bought the Analog 3D for however much it was. I can't remember now. And then I went to my local game shop and I bought tons of N64 games. And you know what? I don't play them. There's a reason I don't play them. It's because right now I have too many things hooked up to that TV right here. So what's going to happen is we're currently like working on getting a new house. And the new house, like my studio is just going to be like a studio. It's not going to be where I hang out and spend time. So all of this shit is going to be out of here. And then I'll probably just bring, like I'll have a gaming room, and the gaming room will have some of that stuff on there. But like a couple of systems will be in like the living room instead. Right. There's a bundle. And because there's a bundle, it implies that you will have the option to buy it without the controller. So yes, there will be a bundle, but will that bundle be a cheaper price, or is it just two things in the same box? You know what I mean? K Retro Gaming, do I think the Steam Machine will come in a bare bones configuration? Absolutely not. It doesn't make sense. I get why people ask for it, but just build your own machine if that's what you want. It doesn't make any, like a bare bones configuration. If you can upgrade stuff, then just build your own. I don't need the Steam Machine. I'm buying it because I want to make content about it. My PC is already more powerful than it. And if I wanted to build a PC, I could just build a PC that does everything that the Steam machine does, with very few exceptions. One of those exceptions is it doesn't have a puck built in automatically. And the other exception is that it's not going to be as small and it's not going to be as quiet. And you know what? That's a perfectly valid response, Richie. People want the Steam machine because it's cool. That's another reason why I want it, because it's cool. I agree. Yeah, Cordy, I'm with you. I should have done my full 20 when I was in the military. I did one tour and got out. All right, let's take a look at this poll. So this poll says 82% of you are going to be buying a Steam controller and 18% are not. So I want to do another poll. This poll is for the people who are not getting a Steam controller. If you're not getting a Steam controller, why not? Don't care about it? Too expensive? Other? Tell me in chat. Start a poll. All right, going back to chat. Bro, a podcast is supposed to be an RSS feed with linked MP3 files. Where's yours if you call yourself a podcaster? On all, my podcast is on all podcasting platforms. So there you go. It's on Apple Podcasts, it's on Spotify, it's on Pocket Cast, it's everywhere. It just happens that most people watch it on YouTube. Oh, yes. If you're adding that money into your Steam wallet, make sure you add enough for tax and shipping. So probably, I don't know, $120 just to be safe. Trying to catch up. I'm going to just jump down. Okay, so Callus Spectre says, I'm disappointed that it's a bummer to me that the controller only works within Steam. It's annoying hoop to have to jump through to require people to add their non-Steam games to Steam. I get what you're saying. There is like the lizard mode that will work in most games, I think, but I don't have that confirmed. That said, if you aren't interested in like adding a non-Steam game to Steam is relatively trivial. It's pretty easy to do. Grunt All Right says, not going to pick it up now. I don't use the controller enough. Yeah, I mean, if you're not a controller person, I get you. I'm a controller person because I busted my elbow. You see this scar right here? I busted my elbow and now my hand doesn't twist all the way. And so it's painful for me to do mouse keyboard. Louise Mo says, I will get one Steam controller only because Valve releases a Steam Deck OLED just a year after I got the LCD. What, you think they're going to release an OLED Steam controller? Has there been testing for Steam controller on GeForce Now? I do Steam Deck and Steam GeForce Now on TV through your Steam library. I'm going to assume that mouse pads do not function. I'm going to assume, okay, so here's the problem with that. Basically, when you use GeForce Now, you're adding a non-Steam game as your game, right? And GeForce is your game. GeForce Now is the game that you're adding to Steam. So then you sit down, you play your game, you launch it, you're playing GeForce Now, right? Well, let's say that you're playing, I don't know, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, right? You're playing that game. And that game, you want to have certain things set up this way. But then you play, I don't know, Pragmata. And in Pragmata, you want to have your controller set up this way. Because the game you're playing is GeForce Now, you then, every time that you play a different game, you have to reset up your layouts, which is a huge pain in the ass. Now, you can save layouts and you can swap between them fairly quickly by making a layout that is for Pragmata and a different one that's for Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. And by doing that, you can still do the same thing, but it's one extra step, and it's definitely something that I would be like, this is too much of a hassle, I'm not bothering. I feel like Steam input is really the most important aspect for any custom controller. Its customizability is key. Steam input, I have a video about this. Steam input is Valve's best product. In my opinion, Steam input is the best thing that has ever come out of Valve. It's amazing. Is the VR headset OLED? I don't remember. Steam powered. Nope, that's not what I want. /hardware. And let's take a look at the Steam frame. And scrolly. All right, processor, RAM, storage, power, display. Nope, it's LCD. It's 2160 by 2160 LCD that goes between 74 and 144 hertz refresh rate. So no, it is not OLED. Kodiak, always good to see you, man. Stay rad. Just so you guys know, we're coming up on about an hour and 20 minutes that I've been going so far. I'm going to be wrapping it up pretty soon. If you have things that you absolutely want me to talk about, throw them in chat or use the super chats feature, and we will talk about it. But I'm going to be shutting things down pretty quick here. Casperius says, I'll stick with my Vitcher glasses. I don't need VR control. Vitcher glasses are cool. I've tried a lot of those different glasses. They're all really cool. But they're not VR. VR is very different than AR. You know what I mean? And I like that TV right there. That is a 50-inch TV. So I don't have a big TV. When you have the VR headset, you have a TV as big as you want. That is really cool. I'm looking forward to that. Keep in mind, anything you sell on Steam Market and get money in your Steam wallet from can go toward any purchase on Steam. Yeah, I've never sold anything on Steam Marketplace, ever. Not even once. Will Steam Controller work on mobile if you're using Steam Link? I'm going to guess yes, because it's just patching through. That's definitely something that I will check when I get my Steam controller. I will check that, and that'll be in my review if I remember. So hopefully I remember. Do Do you think they made a controller $99 so we wouldn't try to hit the 20 controller limit? No, I'm sure that there's going to be people. I don't know anything about the 20 controller limit, but there's going to be people who try and buy 20 controllers. Somebody will. Back to the Steam frame. Personally, Jubal Void says, personally bummed that they skipped color pass-through. Though to make any flat screen gaming way less enjoyable, as a former Quest 2 owner, black and white doesn't look good. Yeah, I agree with that. It would be so much better if it were color pass through. Bill, science teacher question. Have I watched Animation versus Physics before? I showed it to my class this year for fun, but everyone was locked in on it. They were locked in. No, I have not seen that. Yeah, it's going to get scalped. People are going to scalp this. Although, you know, the Steam Deck, like, you had to have an account and it had to have like made purchases on it before the announcement, which was really nice. They can't do that this time because the scalpers know that, so they can easily just go on and make one purchase, like a cheap 39-cent game or something, and then they are eligible. So I'm worried about that. Telman says, I think Steam Frame will definitely have an OLED revision if it's successful enough. I don't know, man. Like, first off, that adds quite a bit of cost. Secondly, and look, I get OLED is great. I have the PSVR 2. The OLED screens on that are beautiful. Everything that's black is perfectly black. That said, Valve made the Vive, right? Or is that not the Vive? What's the one that they made before? The previous one? Steam Index. They made Steam Index. Did they put out a different version of Steam Index? Have we seen another Steam Index from Valve since then? They didn't revise it. I get the feeling that maybe they won't. Or at least not for a long time. Do we know what time we can buy it at? I don't know. Does anybody know that? I'm going to go back and check this. All right. So for the people who didn't want to buy the Steam controller, 48% said other, and tell me in chat. We've talked about some of those things. 37% said it's too expensive, and 15% said that they just don't care about it. So you think the Steam frame will work with large glasses? I would check out the videos from LTT. If I'm remembering correctly, I think LTT said that it's going to, like, that you can use glasses with it, or maybe one of the interviews. People are saying that the controller is going to go up for sale at 10 a.m. Pacific time, so you got to convert that to your time zone. I'm on the East Coast, so that's 10, 11, 12, so like 1 o'clock my time. And yeah, you can buy inserts to replace the lenses that they have with lenses that are your prescription, so you don't have to wear glasses. I don't know about you guys. I wear glasses. I hate wearing glasses when I have headphones on because the glasses get pushed against my head from the headphones. And so the combination of the glasses and the headphones is like painful to me. And I can't stand it. So when I do VR, I just don't use my glasses and things are blurry. But if you can buy like replacement lenses that are prescription, you're going to be much better off to do that. Unfortunately, that means if somebody else is going to use your Steam frame, then you got to be able to take those out easily. And I don't know how easy that is because I haven't had hands-on with it yet. You can't use lenses? So they don't have lenses that you can switch out? I didn't know that. I thought you could. Action Replay says, hey, Bill, longtime watcher, first time commenting. Just to say hi and thank you for the podcast videos. I enjoy the banter in them, and they get me through the work week at the office on Mondays. Cheers. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that you check them out. So with the release date, do you think there will be any Star Wars tie-ins? Free lightsaber with every controller. I'm just kidding. No, I don't think so. I don't think it has anything to do with Star Wars. I think that it's just the day that they landed on. Oh, you can't use contacts. Okay, good to know. They says you can't switch the lenses themselves yourself, but you can buy add-on prescription lenses made by a third party. But then how do they get in there? You have to swap them out yourself, right? All right, everybody. I think I'm going to wrap up the show. It's been awesome talking to you guys for the last hour and a half. Thank you for coming here and hanging out with me, the 400 plus people that decided to sit down and chat with me on a random Monday afternoon with absolutely no notice at all. I just posted that I was going to go live. I was going to record a video, and then I just felt like I was just reviewing it without actually having it in my hands. So being able to just sit here and talk with you guys helped me get my ideas together, and it's going to make it a little easier when my review does come out after I buy my controller. If you want to see more live streams like this, click on that like button, click subscribe, set your notifications to all. And for all of you who are wondering about the Steam machine and when it comes out, there's a link down below that will take you to a t-shirt that I made, and that t-shirt is all about when the Steam machine releases. I'm going to bring it up on screen right now. Here it is. It's called When. Early 2026, crossed off. First half of 2026, crossed off. Coming soon, crossed off. Hope for 2026, crossed off. Will ship 2026? Maybe. Who knows? Anyway, you can get this at the link in the description down below. Thank you guys for spending the last hour and a half with me. I hope you have an awesome day, and stay rad, everybody. Bye-bye.